What if the single biggest reason your ankles swell by evening has almost nothing to do with your age, your weight, or even how much you walk? We've all been told it's just a part of getting older, a simple matter of gravity we have to accept. But that's not the whole story, not even close. A groundbreaking study from the European Journal of Vascular Medicine recently tracked over 10,000 adults over 55. They discovered something astonishing. For people without a major underlying heart or kidney condition, a staggering 78% of their daily predictable swelling was directly linked to a handful of specific, completely overlooked habits. Think about that. Nearly 8 out of 10 cases. This isn't about genetics or bad luck. It's about small, unconscious things we do every single day. This leaves you at a crossroads with two very different paths ahead. One path is acceptance. You continue to feel that tight, heavy pressure building in your legs each afternoon. You kick your shoes off the second you get home, wincing at the deep sock lines etched into your skin. You find yourself saying no to longer walks or evening outings because you know the discomfort that awaits. But there's another path, a future where your legs feel light and energetic from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, where your favorite shoes feel just as good at 6 p.m. as they did at 8 a.m. A future where you have the freedom and confidence to stand, walk, and live without that nagging, waterlogged feeling holding you back. Today, we're going to walk down that second path together. We're going to count down the 7 most common culprits that cause this daily fluid traffic jam. And the number one cause, the specific one that landmark study identified as the biggest factor of all, is something almost nobody talks about. I'm saving that one for the very end because understanding it is the real key to unlocking that feeling of lightness for good. First, let's get a clear picture of what's happening inside. Imagine your circulatory system is a complex countrywide highway system. Your heart is the main shipping depot in the center of the country. Sending blood and nutrients out to your feet is the easy part. It's all downhill. Gravity is a tailwind, pushing everything along smoothly. The delivery trucks reach their destination in your toes with no problem at all. The real challenge is the return journey. That's the long, slow, uphill climb back to the heart. Your body has to fight gravity every single inch of the way. To manage this, your veins, the northbound lanes of the highway, are equipped with a brilliant piece of engineering: tiny, one-way check valves. They're like the little gates at a toll booth that only swing one way. They open to let blood flow up, then snap shut to prevent it from sliding back down. But after a long day of sitting or standing, this system can get overwhelmed. The powerful pumps in our calf muscles haven't been firing enough to keep things moving. The northbound traffic slows to a crawl. The one-way valves get tired of holding back the pressure. It's a slow-motion traffic jam. Fluid, unable to move forward, starts taking the nearest exit ramp and ends up parked in the soft tissues of your ankles and feet. It has nowhere else to go. That's the swelling you feel. Our job today isn't to curse the traffic, it's to become the traffic controllers. We're going to find the roadblocks and clear the way. Let's start the countdown with number 7. Number 7, the comfortable shoe trap. We often blame fancy, uncomfortable shoes for our foot problems, and for good reason. But what if I told you that your oldest, softest, most comfortable pair of slippers or worn-out sneakers might be a bigger part of the swelling problem? It sounds crazy, but it comes down to a piece of incredible biological machinery. Your calf muscles are often called your second heart. This isn't just a catchy phrase, it's a physiological reality. This system has a proper name, the skeletal muscle pump. Every single time you take a proper, mechanically sound step, your calf muscle gives a powerful squeeze to the deep veins running through it. This squeeze is the engine that physically drives blood and fluid up that long, steep hill back to your chest. It is absolutely essential. But for that engine to fire correctly, your foot has to move through its natural range of motion. Think of a healthy step. Your heel strikes the ground first, your foot then rolls forward across the arch, and you finally push off from the ball of your foot and your big toe. This entire sequence, this heel-to-toe rocking motion, is what sends the signal up to your calf. Okay, time to squeeze. Fire the pump. Now think about those floppy slippers or old worn-out sneakers with all the support of a wet noodle. When you walk in them, your foot doesn't rock. It just sort of flops. It slaps down onto the ground. There's no support, no structure to guide your foot through that healthy motion. Because the foot isn't moving correctly, the signal to the calf muscle is weak or non-existent. The second heart barely engages. The pump only fires at 20% capacity. With every single step you take, a little bit of fluid gets left behind, pooling in your ankles. A supportive shoe doesn't have to be a rigid orthopedic brick, but a 2021 study in the Journal of Biomechanics confirmed that shoes with a moderately firm sole and a small heel-to-toe drop significantly improve the efficiency of the calf pump compared to completely flat, overly flexible footwear. This gives you the stability to walk through the grocery store and have your legs feel just as good at the checkout line as they did when you walked in. Try. Take your most worn pair of casual shoes. Grab the heel in one hand and the toe in the other. Try to wring it like a dish rag. If it twists easily with little resistance, it's not giving your foot the rotational stability it needs. Now try to bend it in half. Does it fold up right in the middle of your arch? A good shoe should bend where your foot bends, at the ball of the foot, not in the middle. Number 6, the unconscious chair lock. We've all heard that sitting is the new smoking, but that's a bit of an oversimplification. The issue isn't just the act of sitting itself. It's the specific, unconscious positions we put our bodies in that create literal dams and roadblocks for our circulation. I call this the chair lock. The most famous offender, of course, is crossing your legs. When you sling one knee over the other, you are physically compressing the major veins in both legs. Specifically, you're putting direct pressure on the popliteal vein, a critical highway running right behind your kneecap. Think of it less like pinching a garden hose and more like a car wreck that shuts down 2 lanes of traffic on that uphill highway. Fluid backs up immediately. But there are other, sneakier forms of the chair lock. Tucking your feet way back underneath your chair creates 2 sharp 90-degree kinks, one at the ankle and one at the knee. Fluid can't flow efficiently around sharp corners. Dangling your feet from a tall bar stool or a doctor's exam table might seem harmless, but the edge of the seat is pressing right into your hamstrings, slowing down the flow in the massive femoral veins. And what about that big, soft, sink-into-it recliner you love so much? If it causes your knees to rise significantly higher than your hips, you've just created a perfect valley for fluid to get stuck. The edge of the cushion digs into the back of your thighs, forming another obstruction. It feels relaxing for a moment, but for your circulation, it's like trying to drive through a perpetual construction zone. These positions directly fight against your body's attempt to return fluid to the heart. This isn't just about comfort, it's about fluid dynamics. The solution is to think like a plumber and create open channels. The goal is to maintain gentle, open curves at your hips, knees, and ankles. Try to keep both feet flat on the floor, or propped on a small footrest or even a thick book. This simple act of unkinking the hoses can make a profound difference, giving you the ability to sit through a long movie or a card game without that familiar throbbing starting in your ankles. Try. The next time you sit down to read or watch television, find your default position. Are your legs crossed? Are your feet tucked under? Just notice it without judgment. Then consciously place both feet flat on the floor. Feel the difference. It might feel strange at first, but it's the feeling of an open road for your circulation. Number 5, the dehydration paradox. This next habit is one of the most counterintuitive yet most powerful things we'll discuss. It's the simple fact that not drinking enough water can actually make your body swell up more. It's a bizarre-sounding phenomenon known as the dehydration paradox, and it's rooted deep in our survival instincts. Your body is a masterpiece of self-regulation, always trying to maintain a perfect internal balance. When it senses that it's not getting a steady, reliable supply of fresh water, it begins to panic. It doesn't know if you're just busy or if you've been stranded in the desert. In response, it triggers an ancient survival protocol. It goes into drought mode. A signal is sent from your brain releasing something called antidiuretic hormone, or ADH. Think of ADH as a frantic dam operator in your body. His job is to shout, "Don't let any water escape. We might need it later." Your body starts clinging desperately to every last drop of fluid it has. It dramatically reduces the amount of water it sends to the kidneys and starts hoarding it. And where is the most convenient place to store this emergency reserve? It shunts the fluid out of the active circulation and into the body's tissues, like putting water into storage tanks. The easiest, most gravity-friendly storage tanks you have are in your lower legs, ankles, and feet. So your ankles swell not because you have too much water, but because your body is terrified of running out. To make matters worse, many of the liquids we drink actually intensify this drought signal. Caffeinated coffee and tea, as well as alcohol, are diuretics. They are chemical messengers that tell the dam operator to open the floodgates, forcing your kidneys to flush out more water. This makes your brain panic even more, causing it to double down on hoarding whatever fluid is left. The only way to turn off this alarm is to provide a slow, steady, reassuring supply of plain water throughout the day. Sipping consistently sends a calming message. The drought is over, the rivers are flowing, it's safe to release the reserves. Only then will your body willingly let go of the fluid stored in your ankles, allowing it to return to circulation and be processed normally. Try. Find a glass or a reusable bottle you like. Fill it with water and place it where you'll see it all day. Don't set a goal to chug it. Simply make a new rule for yourself. Every time you get up from your chair, for any reason, you take 1 or 2 sips of water before you walk away. That's it. Number 4, the invisible salt tsunami. You're smart about this. You took the salt shaker off the dinner table years ago. You're careful not to add extra salt when you're cooking. This is a fantastic and important step. But unfortunately, the salt that you consciously control is only a tiny drop in the bucket. The real enemy is the invisible salt. This is the massive amount of sodium that food manufacturers pack into processed and packaged foods. They don't just add it for flavor. It's a powerful preservative that extends shelf life from days to months, and a texturizer that improves mouthfeel. It's hiding in foods you would never classify as salty. Let's look at a typical healthy lunch. A turkey sandwich on whole wheat bread with a cup of soup. You'd think you're doing great. But the bread, even whole wheat, is loaded with sodium to keep it soft. The processed deli turkey is brined in a salt solution. The slice of cheese is high in sodium. The canned soup? A single cup can have over half of your entire recommended daily intake. Before you've even added a pickle or mustard, you've consumed a tsunami of hidden salt. A single tablespoon of many bottled salad dressings has more sodium than a handful of salted peanuts. A frozen dinner, even a lean one, can be a salt bomb. Here's the science in simple terms. Your body insists on maintaining a very precise balance of salt to water in your blood. When you ingest a huge amount of sodium, your body sounds a biological alarm. To dilute the dangerously high salt concentration, it must retain water. This process is called osmosis, a fundamental law of physics where water will always move toward a higher concentration of salt. Your body holds on to every drop of fluid it can to try and restore that safe balance. And where does all that heavy retained water end up? Gravity takes over, pulling it down to the lowest points in your body. You haven't gained fat, you've become waterlogged, and your ankles are paying the price. The effect can be dramatic. A single high-sodium meal can lead to noticeably tighter shoes the very next day. Try. Next time you're at the grocery store, pick up 2 versions of the same product. For example, a can of regular chicken broth and one labeled low sodium. Don't just look at the percentage, look at the actual milligrams of sodium per serving. Then look at the tiny serving size and realize you usually use 2 or 3 servings at a time. The difference will be absolutely eye-opening. Number 3. The idle second heart. Life in the modern world involves a lot of waiting. You're waiting in line at the pharmacy, sitting in a doctor's office, enjoying a long car ride, or settled in for a 2-hour movie. In these moments, you can't just get up and walk around. But just because your body is stationary doesn't mean your circulation has to grind to a halt. You have the power to activate your second heart right from your chair. The exercise is called ankle pumps, and they are your secret weapon against stagnation. While seated with your feet resting on the floor, you simply perform a slow, deliberate rocking motion. First, keep your heel on the ground and lift the front of your foot and your toes up toward your shin as far as you comfortably can. You should feel a nice stretch in your calf. Hold it for a count of 2. Then reverse the motion. Keep the ball of your foot on the floor and lift your heel up as high as you can, as if you're about to stand on your tiptoes. You'll feel your calf muscle contract and tighten. That's the squeeze. That's the pump firing. Each time you complete this simple heel-toe rock, you are manually compressing those deep veins and physically shoving stagnant fluid up the highway, past the next one-way valve. Research from the Cleveland Clinic has shown that performing ankle pumps for just a few minutes every hour can increase venous blood flow from the lower legs by over 30%. It is one of a few simple, non-strenuous exercises that can be done almost anywhere, by almost anyone, to combat the effects of prolonged sitting. Think of it as fidgeting with a purpose. You can do it under your desk at work, at the dinner table, or while watching the news. No one even has to know you're doing it. It's a silent, invisible way to keep the traffic moving, ensuring you can stand up after a long period of sitting without that stiff, heavy, waterlogged feeling. Try. Link this new, powerful habit to an existing one you already do. For example, every time a commercial break comes on television, do continuous slow ankle pumps until the show returns. Or, every time you're sitting and your phone buzzes, do 5 ankle pumps before you check it. The link is what makes the habit stick. Number 2, ineffective elevation. At the end of a long day, putting your feet up feels like the most natural thing in the world. Your body instinctively knows that reversing the pull of gravity will bring relief. So you prop your feet on a coffee table, an ottoman, or the end of a recliner. And it does feel a little better for a little while. But this common way of elevating your legs is, unfortunately, mostly ineffective. It's a temporary patch, not a true solution. Here is the simple, non-negotiable law of physics that governs this entire process. For gravity to become your ally and effectively drain the pooled fluid from your legs, your ankles must be positioned higher than your heart. Not just off the floor, not level with your waist, higher than the center of your chest. Think about it. When you're sitting on the couch with your feet on a coffee table, your ankles are still significantly lower than your heart. The uphill highway is now a slightly less steep hill, but it is still a hill. The fluid traffic jam might thin out a tiny bit, but the road is far from clear. You're reducing the pressure, but you're not reversing the flow. To truly and effectively drain your legs, you need to change your position entirely. The gold standard is to lie down flat on your back, either on the floor or on a firm bed or sofa. Then use a stack of 2 or 3 firm pillows, a folded comforter, or a couch cushion to prop your feet and lower legs up. An even simpler and often more effective method is the legs up the wall pose. Lie on the floor next to a wall and swing your legs up so your heels and calves are resting against the wall. In this position, gravity finally does all the work for you. That column of stagnant fluid can now flow effortlessly downhill, back into your central circulation to be processed. Just 15 to 20 minutes in this position at the end of the day can do more than an hour of half-hearted elevation on an ottoman. It's a true reset for your lower body. Try. Don't wait until the end of the day. If you have a 15-minute break in the afternoon, find a quiet spot to lie on the floor and put your legs up the wall. Pay close attention to the tingling, draining sensation you feel after the first few minutes. That's the feeling of the traffic jam finally clearing. Number 1. The medication mismatch. We have arrived at the number 1 reason, the factor that the major vascular study identified as the most impactful and most overlooked contributor to daily swelling. This is a sensitive topic, so let's approach it with great care. First and most importantly, you must never, ever stop, start, or change the dose of any medication without the direct guidance of your prescribing clinician. Your medications are vital for your health. With that absolute rule in place, it is a simple medical fact that some of the most common, necessary, and life-saving prescription drugs can have fluid retention and swelling, also known as edema, as a potential side effect. A major class of blood pressure medications called calcium channel blockers, like amlodipine or nifedipine, are famous for this. Certain anti-inflammatory drugs, both prescription and over-the-counter, can cause your body to hold on to salt and water. Some medications for diabetes, nerve pain, and even some antidepressants can also be culprits. This absolutely does not mean the medicine is bad or wrong for you. In fact, it usually means it is doing its critical primary job very well. But your unique body chemistry is reacting to it in this secondary way. The immense benefit of keeping your blood pressure controlled or your inflammation down almost always outweighs the nuisance of ankle swelling. The problem is the communication gap. Many people notice the swelling, assume it's just their age, and never mention it to their doctor. They suffer in silence, thinking it's their fault. But your clinician needs to know about this. You must become a proactive partner in your own care. At your next appointment, be specific. Don't just say, "I have some swelling." Say, "I've noticed that by the end of the day, my ankles are swollen enough that my socks leave deep marks, and it goes away by morning." This specific information is a valuable clue for your doctor. Sometimes the solution can be remarkably simple. They might be able to switch you to a different medication in the same class that doesn't have the same effect on you. They might add a mild diuretic. They might even just adjust the time of day you take the pill. But this conversation, this teamwork, can only happen if you initiate it. Try. Start a simple swelling log in a small notebook. For 1 week leading up to your next doctor's appointment, make a note at the end of each day. On a scale of 1, no swelling, to 5, very swollen and tight, how do your ankles feel? Jot down the number. This simple, objective record is incredibly powerful information to share with your healthcare provider. It transforms a vague complaint into hard data they can work with. The 60-second reset, the ankle alphabet. Let's do one simple active thing together right now to get things moving. It's an exercise called the ankle alphabet. It works by gently moving your ankle through its complete range of motion, which activates not just the big calf muscle, but all the tiny supporting muscles that help with fluid return. Please make sure you are sitting in a sturdy chair, like a kitchen or dining chair, where your feet don't have to be on the floor to do this. Do not try this standing up, as it can challenge your balance. Lift one foot off the floor just a few inches. Let your leg relax completely. Now, pretend your big toe is the tip of a magic marker, and you're going to draw on a giant, invisible whiteboard in front of you. Using only your ankle, slowly and deliberately draw a capital letter A in the air, then a B, then a C. Go all the way through the alphabet to Z. The key is to make the movements as large and complete as you can, but keep them slow and controlled. This isn't about speed, it's about motion. You should feel the muscles in your ankle and shin working. When you finish the alphabet with one foot, switch and do the entire sequence with the other foot. A quick but important safety note. Please stop if you feel any sharp or shooting pain. And as always, if you have any serious heart conditions, balance challenges, or major joint problems, it's wise to talk to your clinician or a physical therapist before trying any new exercises, no matter how gentle they seem. Red flags: when to see a doctor immediately. We've spent our time together talking about the common, predictable, and frustrating type of swelling that affects both legs and gets better overnight. But it is absolutely critical that you know how to recognize the signs when swelling is not just a habit-related issue, but a red flag for a serious medical problem. These are non-negotiable. See a doctor right away if the swelling is only in one leg. This is a crucial distinction. Swelling in both legs usually points to a systemic, body-wide issue like fluid retention. Swelling in just one leg strongly suggests a local problem, like a blockage. This could be a deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot, which is a serious condition that requires immediate treatment. See a doctor right away if the swollen area is also red, feels warm or hot to the touch, or is intensely painful. This can signal a skin infection called cellulitis or a severe inflammatory response, both of which need medical intervention. Finally, if your ankle swelling is ever accompanied by shortness of breath, especially when lying down, dizziness, confusion, or chest pain, this is a medical emergency. Do not wait to make an appointment. These symptoms could indicate that your heart is not pumping effectively, and it is a sign of congestive heart failure. Please hear me on this. The daily swelling we've discussed is a problem of plumbing. These red flags are signs of a potential system failure. Promise yourself you will never ignore them. Your very next step. We have gone through a tremendous amount of information, and if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, that's completely normal. The biggest mistake you can make right now is to feel like you have to perfectly fix all 7 of these habits starting tomorrow. That's a recipe for frustration, and it never lasts. Instead, I want you to do something much smaller. Just pick one. Just one single idea from our entire conversation that resonated with you. The one that made you think, I could probably do that. Maybe it's the simple act of consciously uncrossing your legs every time you notice you've done it. Maybe it's putting a bottle of water on your nightstand to remind you to drink when you wake up. Or maybe it's just deciding to do those little ankle pumps during the next commercial break. The goal here is not immediate perfection. It is small, consistent progress. Tiny hinges swing massive doors. That one small change, practiced consistently, will start a positive ripple effect. It will give you a taste of what it feels like to have lighter, more comfortable legs in the evening. And that feeling is worth everything. You deserve that comfort. You can absolutely do this.